Hello, and welcome to today's AI news for Still Team Human for August 10, 2026. There is a wealth of information we need to cover because Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg shared his AI manifesto with the world. Business Insider's story about all this had an unbelievable headline: AI CEOs in their manifesto era. Laugh out loud. LOL. You see what I did there? The irony of social media jargon in this discussion. Anyway, while it is not at all surprising because Zuckerberg is really into manifestos and trying to fit in with all the cool kids at the cool kids table, this manifesto is not what you'd expect from someone leading a social media empire. It appears he is once again shifting gears, this time from social media to AI. Clearly, Meta is seeking to compete with OpenAI and Anthropic. We saw this when virtual reality appeared to be the next big thing. That's how the company's name change to Meta came about. And I can tell you, I never was convinced about the virtual reality. I had previously covered Second Life, which was the first metaverse, to tell the truth, for Business Week. I spent a lot of time in Second Life covering it, especially after someone made on paper $1 million inside the virtual world. And it was just impossible to take it seriously. It was like a video game and it looked like fun. And there were times I enjoyed it as well. But I even took a business school class with a prominent business school where the professor was an avatar of a dragon. And I just thought to myself, how can we take any of this seriously? And what does this do? How does this benefit business moving forward or any of us individually other than entertainment? And of course, the metaverse never delivered on its promises. It never became the next big thing. And Zuckerberg's manifesto on AI, as a result, has me thinking it might be a sign that AI is jumping the shark. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But before we do that, let's unpack what this manifesto on AI actually indicated. So the basic premise is that things will be just fine with AI if we put personal superintelligence agents in the hands of every individual. This comes up throughout the manifesto, and it's crazy talk in my opinion, but it set off the most red flags at the very end, where, quote, Zuckerberg writes, Meta is committed to building with the principles of individual empowerment as the source of prosperity, invention as AI's purpose, and a balance of power favoring people as the foundation for addressing safety risks. There are a couple of things in here that bother me. First of all, who are these individuals? It's going to be all of us, which makes me nervous because let's face it. One, there are some individuals who just simply don't have the capacity to understand the risk involved or what could be coming next with these AI tools. I still want to call them tools. And then the other part of this is that aside from the fact that not everyone will be qualified enough to be responsible for the AI in this way, it also bears repeating that we still don't have really great regulations. That's something that happened with these other technologies, including social media, and we'll get into that in a minute. And therefore, putting, the general public in charge of the safety is really, really disturbing. Um, Also, in the way he talks about AI being an inventor of things, and that's what really is the promise of AI and how we'll benefit most from it. It again is talking about AI in human form. It's talking about it as though we have to succumb to it. It's going to be the inventor of products and all of that. I'd like to leave the creativity and judgment and decision making to the humans, and therefore I don't want the machines being the inventors of anything. I want them to be a tool when we're inventing stuff. And he doesn't talk about it like that. He says, quote, invention, not automation, will be the greatest contribution of superintelligence. Early AI could answer questions and do routine work. Soon it will help discover new knowledge, ranging from discovering new drugs to cure a family member's disease to finding new ways to improve your business. While the number of questions a person can ask in a day is limited, the number of valuable things superintelligence can invent to help achieve your goals is unlimited. End quote. Now, part of that is true. I do believe that AI has the potential anyway. It hasn't proven it yet. It has the potential to help us solve some big problems, including diseases. I think it could really be helpful and useful in the medical field. I don't think it should be replacing doctors or researchers of medications and cures and diseases and all the rest. I think that should be left to the people. Humans should be doing that job and using AI as a tool for help. And yes, that help could be great and significant and could change the world in many meaningful and positive ways. However, the humans have to stay in control. And more than that, the qualified humans. That's how you vet bad actors out. So let's continue to unpack this. We've seen the idea of addressing the safety risks and leaving it to individuals um, in the form of social media. This is exactly what he did with Facebook. People were policing each other. And as we know, social media is run amok. There are terrible things people are saying back and forth. We know that predators have used social media to prey on people. Anyway, this is a story that ends badly. Meta has lost court cases because children were not protected, and that happened very recently. We've all seen the slop and muck posted on social media. It's brought down our children and their confidence. It's allowed bad actors to prey on the weak, and it's divided our country along political lines in a way that we had not seen in a few generations. What I don't get about Zuckerberg and others is the willingness to forego any qualifications or professionalism when it comes to safety and risk management. This gets to me most because when social media first burst on the scene and it became noticeable that people were getting their news from Facebook, instead of doubling down on working with reporters and professional news outlets that have been doing this for years, they eventually let the people lead the way rather than the professional journalists in sharing the news. And this has only contributed to the divisions and the inability to tell fact from fiction online nowadays. It has allowed people to really rewrite history. It's all very troublesome, and it does have an effect on what's happening now. Aside from the fact that they are doing the same thing they did previously and have not learned any lessons from what has happened with social media. They also are risking their payout. I'm just going to say that because this could be really potentially worse. But also the AI is now training itself on stuff that's online. It's inaccurate, and that misinformation is what's leading to a lot of people's concerns about the AI and causing a lot of this pushback. So that's just another aspect of this that I'd like to point out. I also thought it was really ridiculous when he suggested that AI will lead to more jobs. Potentially, it could. I've heard this argument before. It's not a new one, it's nothing novel. However, I will say that uh, it's already proven to be false. People are already losing their jobs to AI, perhaps even at Meta itself. Go look at the news reports and you'll see. And so I find it very rich that the CEOs of these companies want to suggest still that there may be more jobs because of AI. The whole point of this is that it's going to increase productivity. The AI can be more productive. It's going to increase automation, and that removes the need for some people and some of the roles that people have. Granted, it could lead to people having different roles, getting training. There are ways to deal with this problem, but we're not dealing with it. We're just spouting off BS about the job situation. That's all I'm going to say about that. In that same breath, he talks about how the these personal super intelligence agents that they're going to put in the hands of everyone that is going to democratize this new world and make us all better for it. They said that these agents will help people adapt, learn what they need to learn to be able to move forward in work, and help them with the transformation that's happening all around them, help them adapt to what's happening. As someone who has produced many an event about transformation and covered this as a reporter recently, very recently, many of you were aware of this and have witnessed it. There is no way that AI can help us with transformation. Change is very hard for people. It causes a roller coaster of emotions. You can ask Julianne Witten, who has been on this podcast. Check out her book and her episode for more information. But people have great emotions during transformation, especially a transformation like this, where our jobs are being threatened and we are stepping into a very uncertain future, more uncertain than we've ever seen before. And there's economic peril, great economic peril, which makes people desperate. We need human beings who can relate to us, who can have feeling for us. And AI has already told us it will never have feelings. It can replicate what it thinks feelings are or what it thinks we want to hear, but it cannot have feelings. Check out my blog, recent blog on the Human X Factor series, which includes this bit about compassion where I interviewed ChatGPT about this very topic, and it told me outright it doesn't care about what happens to me next. You're not going to get help with transformation from AI. You need people for that job. Also, he talks about the data centers. Now, I'm going to give him some grace here because I do think he had some good ideas about how we can compromise on the data center situation. However, I do think people are not paying enough attention to the communities that are pushing back on having data centers built on their land. There are many good reasons not to. We've talked briefly about it here. It requires a much longer conversation, and I hope we can do a podcast about it soon. But the point is, I don't think he's recognizing all of the drawbacks and what this means for people and how people feel about it. Again, maybe Mark Zuckerberg has a little bit too much AI in him because he's not showing the feelings. He's not relating to the feelings of the people. And that's something important to talk about. The other thing, he was right about geopolitics. The United States and Western democracies should remain the leaders in this space. We don't want to secede to China, who does seem to be winning at the moment. However, and he suggests that prohibiting the Chinese platforms might not be the best way forward. I'm not sure about all that. However, I do think that there needs to be a bigger discussion about how to correctly and rightfully keep America on top of this fight, while also having regulations, safety precautions, and moving with eyes wide open, because this is a very serious technology that is going to change the way we do things, including live our lives. Finally, the timing of this has to be brought into question. The timing of this manifesto is very important. A few things are going on. I already mentioned the pushback on the data centers. There's also a lot of talk about regulations. Even the Trump administration and Congress are discussing about how they can properly regulate AI and what's the right step forward to ensure that the United States stays on top and keeps that competitive edge, but also so that people are protected. At least I hope they're thinking about the people. Their greed sometimes astounds me, so I'm not sure. And I'm going to say this out loud. That might go for both parties. This is very disturbing. And we need to keep on top of them too. We are voters. We are the people. We run this show. Remember that. You can vote. Also, I really think that the other point about this timing is the social media and the fact that it is losing the court cases. Meta lost those court cases, and it's also losing the people. I think a lot of parents, especially, have been talking about the social media uh, problems that their children are facing. Many states are prohibiting the cell phones to keep them off of social media longer. We've already seen all the bullying and all the suicides that resulted from this, and how devastating the algorithms can be to young people, especially, but to all of us. And there's becoming a lot of pushback on social media, and I think that's why Meta keeps continuously trying to reinvent itself, worrying that the social media is not going to take it long into the future, and that they need something else to put their hands on. AI is their answer, but I do think they're super behind. I don't foresee Meta, and I could be proven wrong, but I don't foresee Meta, at least not in the foreseeable future, um, truly competing with OpenAI and Anthropic here in the United States. And time will tell, as we say, it's a very bad cliche, but that's the truth. However, I do think that they are in a little bit of a precarious situation, and that's part of the reason for this now. Um, any case, I really do think that it's worth um, reading the whole uh, manifesto, looking at the manifestos of the other CEOs, and thinking hard about how you want the future with AI to look. And then I would suggest writing to Congress people, writing to your representatives and your senators, and, even to the White House to say, I want regulations. This is what I'm concerned about. Remember, you employ these people, you vote for them, you can vote them out. And we have to keep saying what we need to make sure that this technology does work around our best interests and not the other way around. And I'm very fearful that we're putting people like Mark Zuckerberg in charge. His ethics do not align with mine, and I don't think his values align with what most of us want for the future of our children and ourselves. Just look at the social media and the precedent before. I don't want to badmouth a person. I think some of what he said was very valid, and perhaps he has some good intentions with all of this. However, this is a company that has been heavily investing in AI to the detriment of its people, and hasn't really addressed that part of the situation in this manifesto. And we all know what's happened with the algorithms and social media, and now they're paying a price for it, which is great justice for all of us. However, it does create the need for manifestos like this. And I just think we have to keep questioning, pushing back, and just, you don't have to be cynical, but you have to be um, curious and careful. Those are my words to you. I'm going to leave it at that, and I will see you with the next edition of today's AI news. Please check out the whole manifesto. I will leave it in the show notes. Have a great day. Bye bye.